Hi, this is Sharon, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to burn fine curves with a skew.
Now to do fine curves, I can use pens like this. These are skews. This is a fully rounded skew here. Okay. And this is a skew with a point and a curved belly. Okay, either of these will work. The first technique I'm going to show you is just a very simple rolling technique. And what you do is you take your skew and you roll it between your fingers like so. Okay. So what you would do is do this. You can roll in either direction. Now I have my heat pretty low. If you see here, that's where my heat is. I have a very low, which will allow me to take my time, because if I have it too hot, there is a change in speed as I do these curves. Okay, as you can even see, it does change. What I want to do is avoid creating a big blobs, because I can always go over that track and refine it later. Okay, I can go right over that, spend a little more time in the areas that are not as burned, and speed up through the areas that are burned. So I can always clean it up, but you want to have your heat low. But this is how rolling works. You can roll either way. Now stitching is what you will do if you need to create a lot of complex curves that you can't do all at one time. Once you get to this point, it becomes difficult to continue. So what you would do is you would stitch, which basically means you're going to catch that curve here and stitch right to the end of it. Okay, now I've come over here. I'm going to do the same thing. Stitch right to the end of it. You notice how there are areas that are less burned, but very easy once you've done the original burn to go right back over it. And then you just can keep stitching right over the top of that, like so. And then continuing forth from there, and I move my hand and my board to make sure that I'm always comfortable. Really important that you're always comfortable. Okay, and then you can continue moving on like that by stitching right to it. And the reason I call this stitching is for those of you who are needle workers, you know that this would be how you do a back stitch. You do one stitch like this, you go over it like that, go over it like that, go over it like that, and that's how, when you're stitching, you're working with embroidery, that's how you would do that. Now that's a neat technique for this, but where it really comes in handy is if you're doing a small shape, like let's say this shape right here. Okay. Now this takes on a different meaning for doing very, very fine, tight curves. I'm going to lower my heat even more, because what I'm going to do is, just like a sewing machine, I'm going to stitch here like this. And this. And all I'm doing is I'm taking off and landing like a helicopter, like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Now you can do any combination of these movements. All right, you can go a little bit shorter, like if I have some fairies that are very fine faces, where I'll do a little bit of a curve, then I tap, then another curve, you know, and then maybe that's the fairy's nose. Very tiny, very fine, very delicate. Okay, so you can combine these rolling and stitching techniques to do whatever it is that you're looking to do. And there you have a very fine circle. Okay, it takes time. I mean, you know, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that's just so slow. But honestly, if you try and rush it, you're going to spend so much time fixing it that you might as well just spend the time to do it right the first time. It'll look clean and it's not as frustrating. So that is how you do curves. And they're an awful lot of fun. If you want to have some good practice with curves, do some hair. Do a woman with long hair, or a mermaid, or something like that. That gives you lots of practice with beautiful curves, and you can get very imaginative with that. Okay, and then have them move into each other, weave in and out. A mermaid is a lot of fun to do. And you could just go to town with that. Okay? Hope that helps.
I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial, and I invite you to visit my website at www.burningwithsharon.com, where you can find more great videos, tutorials, articles, and a lot of resources for learning how to burn. If you like this design and would like to try your hand at curved lines, fine curved lines, you can find this pattern again on my website in the store, and it's called Celtic Lady. Thanks again for watching, and have a wonderful day.